So welcome to the FPL Game Week 1 final squad. I've been working over the last week to look at the players I wanted, the people I decided to put in, and I've made some adjustments. So I'm going to show you the adjustments I made and why, and look ahead to the Game Week 1. So we had Ramsdale as one of our goalkeepers. I've actually removed him and we've gone with Bernd Leno. Now the reason I've gone with Leno is I needed a new backup goalkeeper. Now Ramsdale was my first choice. But now Arsenal have picked up Raya from Brentford for the season. I was really unsure who would be the number one at Arsenal. Both of them really do in their own rights have the ability and the reasoning to say I am the number one at Arsenal. So I decided, you know what, for Game Week 1 at least, we will go with Ederson of Manchester City as our number one. Then I decided to spend a little bit less and bring in Fulham's number one, Leno. Now I saw some people talking about now Livramento is coming to Newcastle. There's a chance Trippier will not be starting. Now, first off, I thought that is mad. Trippier will be our number one right back. Livramento will come in at left back. Now, yes, Livramento is a right back naturally, but he will come in to play left back for us this season, I think, and he will be more of a backup option for Trippier. But, the seeds of doubt were planted in my mind, and I decided to get rid of Trippier from our squad. It might be a big regret, but for now I've gone with that, and I've also removed Ben Mee. Now, the reason I removed Ben Mee was simple. With Raya going from Brentford, their main goalkeeper, I lost the faith in the defensive side of Brentford. So I brought in Colwell, who I do think will be starting for Chelsea this year. But for Game Week 1, Colwell will be a backup. And I brought in Akanji, who, due to some injuries at Man City, will definitely be starting Game Week 1. So Ederson and Akanji away to Burnley, I do think can secure us points. Now moving into midfield, Mbumo from Brentford I actually wanted to keep, but there was a percentage chance he would not be playing in Game Week 1. So I've took him out and I've brought in Bruno. Now, with us having Tononi now, I do think Bruno will play just a little bit further forward. And he is so creative. So bringing him in to central midfield was a no-brainer for me. He was one of the options I considered originally. But due to the injury at Brentford, Bruno coming in I think is a good shout. Now, I took out Anderson as well. And I had enough money left with us losing Bruno from Brentford to bring in Mason Mount. And Mason Mount is probably one of the few starting people in this team who I'm unsure is actually going to be starting, but I want to take a shout and a chance because if he plays, I do think goals and assists are going to come from Mount. And the final change was moving McAtee from Strikeforce, and we had enough money to bring in Kolasinac from Wolves. Now, he missed the whole of last season with an injury, but he's been doing well in pre-season, and even though Wolves are in turmoil, this is someone who I do think could get goals. Now, going into Game Week 1, I'm going to be leaving him on the bench in terms of Kolasinac, but I do think potentially he could move in our stand squad. So our stand squad, Ederson in goal, away to Burnley. Manchester City, I do think there are points available there. Akanji is going to be starting for Man City early in the season, definitely. So he will be in this squad. Gabriel against Nottingham Forest at home. And Brighton with Luton at home. Estupinan will be in the squad. So that back three, I do think there are points from everybody in the back three and the goalkeeper, the back four. There's points there. Bruno at home to Aston Villa, maybe can get an assist. Eze away to Sheffield United, again, one of the most creative players for that squad. Mason Mount, if he starts at home to Wolves, I do think there's points there. Maddison away to Brentford. Harry Kane, Tottenham have accepted the bid now. Is he going to pick up points? I'm unsure. Maddison is someone who maybe might move out quite quickly from this team. Ødegaard at home to Forest, there's points there. Haaland away to Burnley, I do think he'll get off the mark on the opening day. And Ollie Watkins away to Newcastle. Is he going to get goals? I'm not sure, but I think long-term Watkins and Haaland is the best strike force. Leno's our backup keeper. If Fulham have a easy home fixture, could be a potential to come in. Colwell and Trent Alexander-Arnold, if they are starting and looking good for their clubs, can come into the starting 11. And Kalasinic, as I've said, has looked good in pre-season, missed last year for an injury. If he can get going, could be a good striker for Wolves. So that's our team going into game week 1. Make sure you comment below your team. Let me know how your team is looking. Make sure you go into the description and join my Fantasy Premier League. I've been Paul, also known as Northman, and I'll see you next week.